The Dark and Lonely Roads is a scary story about a young boy who imagines there is a hideous monster lurking in the darkness in a lonesome place in his neighborhood. Every night you sit here in the comfort and safety of your home, but you have no idea of what is going on outside in the darkness. Not far from your home, there is a dark and lonely place. You might not know about it, but it's where, all over the country, in small towns and cities, where there are so many of was a dark and lonely place. When I was a young boy, living in a small town, Johnny Craig lived across the street from me. I was friends with his big brother. He was just a baby when I saw him growing up, but I never paid much attention to him. Sometimes in the evening, my mother would send me out to the local store to buy a carton of milk or a bed of sugar. On the way to shop, I had to pass along dark stretch of road. During the day, it was just a shanty place, lined with old, gnarly trees and vacant lots where nothing had been built and nothing was ever going to be built. I was never afraid or feared by day, but at night it was a defeating place, a lonesome place, a place of darkness and strangeness, a place of terror and fear, very where no houses nearby, no street lights. It was pitch black as black cold be, dark as the deep's night, with tall trees blocked out the moon and the stars, casting their long shadows across the road. Whenever you had to go that way, you walked slower and slow. It was like stepping into dark tunnel. Behind you were these lights of the houses, the sound of cars and people walking along the sidewalk. Ahead of you, there was just a long, lonely stretch of darkness, in which anything could be lurking, anything at all. Every time I had to pass that place at night, I would dread it. I kept hoping somebody would come along, so I wouldn't have to walk alone. But nobody ever came. As I walked along the dark stretch of road, I would keep my eyes fixed on the terrace, half expecting to see something for someone lurking there in the darkness. Perhaps it was the bogeyman. My mother had often told me about the bogeyman and how he waited in dark place for boys and girls who strayed from the patch. Perhaps it was a child predator. My mother had also warned me about evil men who tried to lure children with the promise of candy and puppy dogs. Perhaps it was something worse. Out of the corner of my eye, I would catch glimpses of misshapen figures crouching there in the pitch black, waiting for the moment when the world burst forth and pounce on me. When in what silent and isolated area, we will begin tearing me and rending me and doing unspeakable things to me and nobody world ever see me again. I am not sure what I expected to see lurking in the lonely place at night. My imagination always got the better of me. In my mind, it was a hideous creature somewhere between animal and man. It had long, spindly limbs and huge, sharp claws. It had with slimy skin and ears what burning like fire. I imagined it hiding in the branches of those old trees, dropping down without a sound and stalking the angry boys and girls who passed along the dark and lonely road at night. One night it almost got me. I was walking down the lonely road and all of a sudden, where there wasn't any light up ahead, White swinging now, it was coming. I could just feel it waiting where there is darkness. I started running, desperate to get away. But I could feel it behind me. It was going on me. I could feel its breath on the back of my neck. I ran as fast as I could. I ran until I thought my head would burst. It almost had me in its clutches, but I managed to get away. When I got back to the safety of my house, I looked at myself in the mirror, and where it was a long, jagged rip on the back of my shirt. I see the sharp claws had tried to grab me and just missed my body grabbed me and just missed it maybe an inch. What scared me real bad, and afterwards I had it going down that lonely road more than ever. Some night I won't come back, I warned my mother. She just lounged and told me not to be silly. There is something out very in the dark, I told her. Very in the dark, what isn't very in the light. She assured me, what do adults know about the world? Grown up think we know anything. The place where trust in what we read, but we only read what is reported in newspapers and on TV. We drive around in their cars and never have to walk anywhere at night. They don't know what goes on out there in the dark, in the wretched, lonely places where no light ever shines, on the darkness hangs like a cold way ground and no bird ever sings. I knew the world believed me, I knew where it was nothing I could say to convey them that something or someone lived down here, among the trees on that dark and lonely stretch of road. As I grew older, I gradually forgot about the lonely road. I got taller, I went to King's school. I started playing football, I learning to drive, and I started dating girls. The years passing by, and somehow I forgot about the wing that lurked very in the darkness. The memory of it still remained in a distant corner of my mind. But it was a memory locked away in childhood. The years passed by, but I never thought about the other kids who had to walk down the dark and lonely road at night. 3 days ago, Johnny Craig went missing. He lived across the street from me. I was friends with his big brother. He was just a baby when. I saw him growing up, but I never paid much attention to him. Not until we went missing. They found him in the trees on the dark and lonely stretch of road. His body was torn and ripped and scratched, almost beyond recognition. The police said he had been mauled by some kind of animal. The moment I heard about it, I knew what happened. Johnny Craig had been murdered by the thing my childhood fears had created. The thing I had conjured up in my imagination. I had left it on the dark and lonely stretch of road. I had left and waited to wait for some scary little boy who happened to be walking home one dark night. A little boy we could run as fast as he could run. Afterward, the town cut down the trees and put up streetlights. What stretch of road isn't dark and lonely anymore? I think what lurking where is it gone now? It's gone somewhere else, where the people are in suspicion, to some other small town. A small town like yours, where we wait will wait again. Just as it did here, it will wait for some other Christian little boy or girl to come along. It's only a matter of time.